is live outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Mike, what have you learned about this and this attorney?
Fred, you can't make this stuff up. Another day, another incident. Let me tell you, it all unfolded this morning inside the courthouse. Here's what we can tell you. During a security checkpoint, that's when deputies arrested defense attorney Anastasios Menendez. Investigators say he was arrested on 2 counts of prescription drugs, not in its original container. We're not sure if they were his prescription drugs. We're still working to find that out. We also know he was arrested on 1 count of obstruction, 1 count of simple battery on a law enforcement officer. More on that in a moment. Now, first, another thing we want to discuss is we're getting an exclusive look at the body camera video from yesterday's incident involving Redalius Ryan. Investigators say Ryan came into court smelling like marijuana. And so as you can see with this body cam footage, they bring him in the back of the courtroom. The back of the courtroom outside, and when they performed a strip search on him during this, you hear Ryan screaming for help. But I've watched this video in its entirety. At no point did you see officers using excessive force. They eventually found a bag of marijuana sewn into his underwear. Now, his father watched the video too and told me he has no idea how his son got that marijuana. Now, back to that attorney who was arrested. Here's what the sheriff told me minutes after that arrest.
We've created a secondary checkpoint because we've had problems over the last couple of weeks with contraband, with defendants ending up with contraband. So long story short is we've implemented some new security procedures, including a secondary checkpoint. And at that checkpoint, one of the attorneys had some contraband, as well as ended up throwing a cell phone at one of my captains.
Yeah, and as we're on the air right now, I'm getting an update from inside the courtroom. So that attorney was representing one of the defendants, Miles Farley. He was one of the 14 defendants in this case. Apparently now, Judge Glanville has chosen to sever that defendant, which basically means he'll be tried in a new trial. So now we are down to 13 defendants who are standing trial. That includes, of course, hip-hop superstar Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams. This has just been a wild trial, Fred. Remember, we're 4 months into this, still don't have 1 juror seated. So we are going to get back up inside the courtroom, and we will have much more coming up on Channel 2 Action News at 4. For now, we're live in downtown Atlanta. Michael Seiden, Channel 2 Action News.
Mike, a lot going on here. So you mentioned that defendant will get a new trial by himself, basically. The attorney now is in custody, and yet yesterday's situation, we'll keep following it. Thank you very much.
Earlier this year, Nicole Fegan, a lawyer representing defendant Tenquarius Mender, was arrested on February 16, 2024 on suspicion of contacting a suspect in a separate shooting case and advising him to dispose of his phone to avoid arrest.
Criminal defense attorney on charges she told a murder suspect to throw away evidence. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Christine Spiro. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert has been working on this breaking story throughout the day today. Tyler is live now with more. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Christine, good afternoon to you. One of the defendants who represents one of the attorneys representing a defendant in the YSL gang case is now in trouble herself, and I've learned that she faces a gang charge herself. This is Nicole Fegan. She was arrested today in Gwinnett County, stemming from a September 2022 deadly shooting in downtown Atlanta, not far from Centennial Olympic Park. Fegan is not accused of shooting anyone, but Atlanta police say investigators learned she contacted a suspect in the shooting and told him there was a warrant for his arrest. Investigators say she learned about that during a court hearing related to the shooting. Police say she told the suspect, who they aren't identifying, to dispose of his phone as police were going to arrest him. Detectives say Fegan was not representing the suspect that she called. She faces 2 charges: participation in criminal street gang activity and solicitation to tamper with evidence. Fegan represents YSL defendant Tenquarius Mender. Besides Fegan,
in a continuation of the bizarre circus that is the YSL RICO, a third attorney has asked to be removed from the case because she is going broke.
Heated discussion about pay for a court-appointed attorney in the YSL trial. An attorney wanted out of a trial, which she says keeps her from earning a livable wage. Atlanta News First Rachel Aragon was in the courtroom. So, Rachel, after today's hearing, the defense attorney is now staying on the case.
Yeah, Angela D. Williams will stay on this case and continue to represent her client, which is one of the co-defendants on trial. But her attorney pointed out, unlike the other co-defendants, including Young Thug on trial, they have multiple attorneys. But again, as her attorney pointed out, it's just her taking on this workload.
In your opinion, is that enough money?
Angela D. Williams filed a motion to withdraw from the case, citing financial hardship from the length and commitment this trial requires, which she says prevents her from taking on new clients. D. Williams is contracted with the Georgia Public Defender Council.
The first contract she signed, she came back and said it was not enough. We modified it and increased it tremendously to the tune of $55,000 a year.
Last year, the attorneys on this case that are contracted with the Defender Council learned that they would get a monthly increase with a cap of $55,000.
I can't take any new cases. I can't close any cases. I need something to survive off of. And I also need funding for Mr. Ryan.
For a trial slated to continue well into 2025, according to the motion, D. Williams' attorney making the case that $55,000 a year.
The YSL trial is expected to continue well into 2025. Be sure to subscribe to Dangerous Streets for more updates. Will the prosecution win and rid the streets of the dangerous criminal organization?